Welcome everyone to the Island Life podcast, where we journey onto the island of discovery to relive some of the best and worst moments of Survivor. My name is Will, an experienced Survivor fan, 48 seasons deep, and I will be your guide. And joining us on this adventure is our rising Survivor fan with 13 seasons under her belt, Ange.
Hello, guys. What an episode.
And of course, we also have our Survivor newbie, the brand new Survivor fan who just finished his 5th season of the show. I give you Survivor F.
Hey there, guys. Survivor F here.
What an episode indeed. So, what we have to do immediately is break the ice. But this time, to break the ice, my question to you is, what in the blue blazes just happened?
Right. We're all
What
just
the hell
kind
just
of
happened?
mind blown right now, right?
Mind
It's
blown,
just
disappointment,
so many feelings.
confusion, a
Yeah.
lot of feelings. I think I went through like 10 stages of grief and thought about what's the future for me in Survivor in this season.
Oh no,
multiple
this is it.
times.
Your
This
limit.
is it.
You
No,
almost
no.
made it to the epic season 50, but it's all
But
been
that's it.
ruined.
That's the cutoff. Yeah, I think
If Soph is in 50, I'm out. I'm sorry, guys.
Ooh,
I'm out.
oh, big stakes for when that gets revealed. Oh,
Yes.
but I think in terms of this might have been our longest time spent on an episode, even excluding the runtime, just because we spent so much time talking about the ins and outs of what was happening as the episode was unfolding and how, like what direction it could go in. So in a sense, it felt exciting because there were so many different paths that opened up.
Mhm.
But at the same time, just looking at the end of last episode, I would be surprised if a lot of people would have expected the episode to go the way it did. It definitely caught me by surprise. How about you two?
I felt like because there's so much hype and excitement and so many things that we could have thought of, it felt very disappointing. Like, I feel like the more excitement you get and then you get a disappointment, it's just the higher you fall, and that's how I feel right now. Like, I felt like I had a high, like, you can tell when I was watching, I was like, "Oh my gosh, he can't use it. She can't use this, like, knowledge or power because he used it already. Like, no way." And I'm, like, thinking, like, "The numbers are numbering. Oh my gosh." And you get excited, and then boom. And then it makes sense when a play makes sense, but I'll talk about it more, but I honestly don't think anybody's play made sense. Like, like, especially, specifically, Sage and Soph. Their plays are, "What is going on?"
I think it makes sense to set the stage and focus on Sophie. By the way, she reclaimed her name. We were joking about that last time, but she has said it, announced it on the show. She is Sophie.
But not according to Jeff.
Not according to
Still
Jeff.
Soph.
But I guess he didn't get the memo from the cameramen and women, so maybe next time he'll say it. So here's the situation. With 6 people left, we're going to tribal council. Like we're preparing to go to tribal council, and Savannah has won another Amiri challenge. So despite people contemplating going against her, too bad. You can't. Also, Rizo has peddled the story that his immunity idol that he keeps on not using, this is the last chance. So at this point, if you believe that, and it's a believable story because in the history of the show, there have been idols that expire at Final 6, and there also have been ones that expire at Final 5. So it was not a outrageous claim for him to make. But therefore, he might have faked us out all these times, but it no longer gives him any benefit to fake us out. So we think he's going to use the idol, is what people would think. So you're not going to vote for Rizzo. So now, if you want to go against that alliance, you're targeting Sophie. And then the group that might do that: Steven, Sage, and Kristina. Steven has his ability to use his block of vote advantage, which would mean that there's only 2 people voting against him, and 3 of them voting for whoever they want, which would be most likely Sophie, or so we thought. So that's what's on the table. Then Sophie herself has the knowledge is power. And whether she told anyone about it or not, she does have a choice. She could choose to defend herself by removing Steven's advantage from him. They think that the only reason they wouldn't succeed in this vote is because of this advantage, so just take it from him. Or she could also take Rizzo's idol with the intention of using it right away and guaranteeing herself one more night. And I guess there's the null option. She could decide that actually she's fine. She doesn't need to do anything and just hold her advantage for another week too. So that's the stage. So at what was the time as the episode was going on? Like, how did your opinion of what Sophie should do develop? Maybe like from the moment the immunity challenge ended on.
Yeah, I just my mind went in so many different directions. Like I was playing like 4D chess in terms of like, okay, like if this road leads to this, Sophie could do such and such. And we had an entire like 20-minute conversation on it while we were watching. We had to pause and kind of assess some things. But it, for me, it felt like there were opportunities. Sophie kept talking about how she's going to make a big move. And I was looking at the episode title, which for this episode, I believe it is The Die is Cast. And,
Yes, sir.
it just got me thinking about how this episode would involve Sophie in some way, shape, or form. And, something big that is going to come out of what she's doing, hence the name of the episode. And, not to spoil everything right away, like in a sense she did, but it just did not go in the direction I expected. And I felt like she didn't necessarily do what was best for her own personal game, which would have potentially given her a very good end to this, as she advances.
So what would have
But
been best for her game, in your opinion?
I think what would have been best for her game is everyone knows that Rizzo has the idol. If, like, at some point you're going to have to sabotage them and work against them, now is the time to do it. And, like, it's even more so important because you recognize that Rizzo's idol can be used next week. Like, it doesn't have to be used for this episode. So, if she understands that I don't have any pressure, the vote's not going to be on me. I understand that Rizzo's idol is going to be available next week. I'm fully protected this week and next week. And that guarantees me a spot at the end. And also, there's a story to be made that I worked with these guys all the way. I started from this losing tribe, made it all the way, essentially survived by playing a subtle game, but building connections, continued to work my advantage into the game. And that's how I got myself into the final three. That's a storyline she could make, which is a viable storyline. And she would have people who were actually supportive of her in the jury. So I saw a pretty clear pathway for her to guarantee herself a spot at the end. And she did not go in that direction. Now, does that mean that she's out of it? No, but I think she took the less guaranteed option here. And that's what kind of puts me at a pause in terms of figuring out like why she went about things the way she did.
Yeah.
As I was discussing with you both, like, I felt that like she could have even made a point to Rizzo and essentially explained it in a way where it didn't seem like he was even stabbing her in the back. By just telling her that like, okay, if people feel like you have the idol and you have to use it this week, Rizzo's convinced the rest of the tribe that he has to use it this week, and if he doesn't use it, then it's gone. But Sophie knows better, and Savannah knows better, and they could make it so that, okay, like if they're not going to target Rizzo, they might be targeting me. This is a way for us to all have some protection and guarantee us all moving the majority for next week. That's the logic she could use, which does make sense, and make it so that like, okay, if he's hesitant about using it to protect her, she can take it in her own hands and move forward without throwing him under the bus necessarily.
But to be clear, because you kind of said two different things, do you feel her optimal play was to steal the idol, or are you saying to just simply persuade him to use his idol on her?
No.
In this
I definitely would want her to steal the idol because that's both a play that she does in the game, which you would give her points for. And it's something that guarantees her protection. Rather than relying on your partner to do something to help you out, you know for a fact if you control it, you know when to play it, when not to play it. You put the decision in your own hands.
Okay, understood. What do you think about that, Ange? Do you agree with F's master plan here?
I get I get what you're saying. I think your plan is better than whatever Soph just did. And yes, you're still gonna be called Soph. I don't care anymore.
Oh no,
Yeah, that's my
denied
move.
her name.
Yes, Soph, it
Well,
is
to be
you.
fair, her grandmother also calls her Soph.
Exactly. So you're welcome, Soph. My thing is, I think, like, throughout the entire time, you hear, like, Soph being like, if I'm final 3 with these 3 people, I am not gonna win." And that is so true. I mean, easily you can see Rizzo and Savannah. Savannah's won, what, 3 challenges? 4? 3 challenges? Anyway, she's winning a lot of challenges. She is close, really close to Rizzo, and I feel like in the end of the day, if those 3 are the ones getting it, she would be guaranteed a 0 vote win, like, a 0 vote finalist. She let food get in her way of making a good play. Like, I get it, the food, the letters, a very sweet moment, and it is like, yeah, that's nice and all, but was it worth it? Like, I feel like using your knowledge is power. This powerful thing that you had for multiple days, you're held on to it, and you're not gonna use it on an idol. You're gonna use it on a block a vote or a steal a vote that they thought of that they didn't even think about, hey, can we use that? I feel like if I had the knowledge of power, this is so OP. I'm gonna take Rizzo's vote, and I'm gonna guarantee myself and then maybe take down Rizzo, get some points because, hey, I took Rizzo down, someone strong. And I think it's respectful to be able to steal this idol. It's kind of actually poetic to steal this idol that this guy keeps on pretending to use and not use. That would make juries salivate. I would salivate as a jury, for that. But instead, she doesn't do that. She doesn't do that. She could have guaranteed, she had the best moment. She could have guaranteed win. If she worked with, if she got the idol and then it took out, I don't know, Steven versus Rizzo, it would have been great. I feel like this would have been great. She would have been guaranteed, like final. She would have been guaranteed. It'll be 5. She used the idol. 4. Then what? You don't win, but maybe you could do fire, beat Sage or Kristina. That's going to be in the end. I think that was her best move. And if she was final 3, she actually has a great resume now. And then since she didn't use it, she actually used a bad knowledge of power. Doesn't use it correctly. And then now she has nothing on her resume. Her resume is, "Hey, I made 2 really great friends. Good for you. I love that for you. But you made no moves. You spent 2 episodes talking about moves, 2 episodes of, hey, I should steal like his idol, or I feel like, I know these people for a couple weeks. I didn't know them before, like $1,000,000. You say all these things and have made no moves. I don't know. That doesn't give out good, respectful votes from me. So I thought that was like terrible. Like, I don't understand what you're thinking, Soph, but glad you got the 2 friends. I love it. Friendship is great. Power of friendship is great, but I don't know if it's going to get you $1,000,000.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. I think this is the moment where you have to be cutthroat. And like, regardless of if it gets Rizzo eliminated, it actually does not hamper her game. She's guaranteed for the next week. If she steals the idol, obviously. And it doesn't matter what Savannah thinks of her at that point, right? Like, she's still, like, she's going to use the idol the following week to protect herself. And Savannah is like on the chopping block. Like, that's an easy way to get rid of 2 people who are a threat to her game, who've been supporting her. But that's essentially how I envision people would play Survivor.
So let's just, because I think it sounds like what both of you really want, though, is a very, very different scenario. You're saying she's abandoned that alliance before even tribal council, because what Sophie's deciding between is how best do I protect my alliance. I can protect my alliance by removing Steven's advantage, or I can protect my alliance and de facto me by stealing the idol. But in that scenario, she's not voting for Rizzo. She's voting for Steven. But I think what you want is go talk to Steven and co. and tell them to vote for Rizzo, and then she steals the idol, and now Rizzo's gone. Because the thing is, if the tribal council happened exactly the same way, except that she stole Rizzo's idol, I do think she has to consider using that idol for this tribal council, because the original plan, or what they thought was the original plan, is to target her. And so it would be a very bold move to then still not play it unless you've gotten assurances from the others that they're not voting for you. So I think what would happen, best case scenario, is she takes the idol, and it's 3 votes for Soph. She uses the idol, so that's fine, and then 2 votes for Steven. Steven goes home. Then next week, Savannah is betrayed. So Savannah will only be self-interested, and the rest of them just watched you make an amazing move, a move that might actually make you the biggest threat, and now you're a target at Final 5 along with Savannah, who wins a lot of challenges. So I just want to throw it out there. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. I think if the only thing you changed about the plan is taking Rizzo's idol versus not.
Well, I mean, okay, here's the risk that I see, but I see it differently, right? Like Rizzo has already fed them the lie, and based on what we see in the episode, they believe it. Rizzo fed them the lie that you have to use the idol this episode. It would not make too much sense for her. I don't even think she has to even tell them to vote for Rizzo. I think, yes, it would help if she concocts that plan, but I think if they see what's happening during Tribal, it speaks for itself, right? Like if you see her steal Rizzo's idol, they're going to be questioning why she did that. They're going to be like, okay, like if she has to, then they're still going to be thinking that she has to use it this Tribal. Otherwise, like, what was the point of doing that? I don't think they would still be voting for her in that case. Why would she be stealing Rizzo's idol if then she's like not going to use it to protect herself? Like then that's just a wasted vote, right? Then they might just divert their target to someone like Rizzo. They'll be like, okay, well, the person who had protection like no longer has protection. And we were under the thought that originally he was going to be using the idol to protect himself. Now we're just essentially changing. The status quo has changed. Now that Rizzo's not doing that, Sophie's going to be doing that. So rather than, just as we weren't voting for Rizzo before, we're just not voting for Sophie now. So
Okay,
I think in that case,
what was our reaction after all that happened? Oh, what if Rizzo uses it on Soph? So we would have got the reverse. What if Soph uses on Rizzo is what the other 3 might think.
but
And
like, why would she?
I think it'd be
Why would she
dangerous.
steal it though? In that case, though, like, why would she even bother stealing it?
So they can save themselves, because I think because if neither of them use an idol, then one of their alliance goes home. So
right, but it's no different from like Rizzo just using it to protect her right off the bat, right? I think if she's doing that, she's throwing Rizzo. She's not using it to protect him, right? That at least that's my. I don't know about you. That would be my takeaway. If I'm part of that,
sorry, finish your thing.
I was just going to say, if I'm part of that tribal, I'm thinking, okay, she stole Rizzo's vote. Yeah, that would be some big brain move if you're then using it to then again protect Rizzo, but I'm not even thinking that. I'm thinking if you have to use it today, and that's what I've been led to believe, and you steal it from him, and he was going to use it today, now he doesn't have it. Why would she now use it to protect him if he was just going to do that? Like my process is very simple. We weren't originally going to vote for Rizzo because we know he is an idol. He's going to use it today. Okay, so Sophie stole that. She's probably just going to use it to protect herself. Let's just vote for Rizzo, right? So that's my thing. I don't necessarily think if I was part of that tribal, I would be thinking, oh, she's going to use it to protect Rizzo.
Fair enough. I think I just contend it's an unknown. It's like when Rizzo didn't use his idol for himself, Like, I was like, "Oh my," I mean, that was bold. I thought that was bold because you don't know what's happening. Weird things just went down. To not keep yourself, you don't wanna end up on the list of people that just do this, and but at the same time, he didn't even protect his ally. I also felt
Yeah.
surprising. So, I think if, personally, I would be scared if I was Sophie to not use the idols. It's not an obvious move, but you'd be like, "This is risky if I don't use it." So I do think it's tricky. Um,
Well,
but
I
that other fiction though of the, like, she wasn't with them from the beginning, like, she just goes talks to the other group beforehand, that has its own risks, but is a more guaranteed path to get what you want. Now that risk is you tell Steven that plan, and Steven's like, "That's a great plan, and a plan that'll make you look good for the jury and not me." So that is the danger of doing it that way. So, any move has risks.
I agree, and just so we're not lingering too long on this point, I I think I think based on how Sophie did it, the fact that she didn't just steal it right away, she didn't try to convince him to. She we did hear her mention like you should probably use it on me. So like she didn't fully know what he was gonna do, but she in the back of her mind she probably understood there was an opportunity that it wasn't even going to be played this week. Because like otherwise, Rizzo did mention to her that like they went through strategies about like, oh, if we advance to next week, then we're like guaranteed. So my thought is like if I'm playing a big game, if I'm taking a high risk, high reward position, yeah, I'm absolutely stealing that. And in the off chance I get voted off, that is the risk. But if I don't get voted off, I'm looking really good over like I'm guaranteed into the like the final four, final three, and then it's just up to me to perform and win the jury vote, do the fire making, however it's going to conclude.
Sure. What do we think of Rizzo? So Rizzo's perspective of what, because I'm of the belief we'll find out next week. I'm sure. I don't think this was a case where the five other people at some point talked to each other and together chose to target Steven. I think it so happened that Sage and Kristina themselves agreed to go Steven. Steven thought it was going to be Sophie, so he was doing that, and then also separately Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie were targeting Steven. It just kind of so happened to work out that way. So, and I think like their reactions and like panic is what makes me believe that. And obviously in the voting booth, um Sophie is like, "That was so embarrassing, like, that's not for anyone's, they're not here, so that's not, it's only for us." So I don't know that she's putting on a performance just for us. So I think
Mhm.
they are all surprised about what went down. And from Rizzo's perspective, what goes down is their plan to defend themselves against a mysterious advantage fails because Sophie whiffs with the knowledge is power. So now he's left with his own choice. Something's gone wrong with their plan. They believe it's about to be 3 votes against 2 against almost certainly Sophie. And he decides, first of all, to not use his idol on her, which I think speaks volumes in and of itself, and also not to defend himself, too. So what do you guys think about how Rizzo played this?
I mean, in the end of the day, he played it well in a way of he didn't need to use his idol, and he's still in the game. So I think that speaks for itself, right? Do I like the way he does it, where he goes up and he does his whole, like, theatrical I don't know, I'm not into it. I feel like it's done. Like, why are you consistently wasting time of not playing? Like, you're always, like, getting all the shakes of, like, "Oh my god, he's playing his idol, he's getting up," and then he plays the fake one or plays not for himself. He doesn't even play it for not only he doesn't play it for Soph, he doesn't play it for himself. He's just like, "Whatever, sorry." It's like, "Sir, I think I'm good with the theatrical." Like, once is okay, it's cool. Second times, it's like, "All right." Third time, stop it, please. You're getting a little cringe right now. Like, I think Rizzo on his own, he seems really good. Like, I feel like when I see Rizzo on confessionals, when I see Rizzo, like, not with Savannah and Soph, I like him. I actually really like him. It's the moment that he isn't with, is when he, like, is in tribal, or when he's with Savannah or Soph, is where I start to, like, not like him. So maybe, like, that is what gets him to win, because him with his core 3 is different than how he is with other people, which makes other people like him a lot because they don't know what happens behind their backs. So I guess in a way, I think out of anybody right now that Steven's gone, Rizzo has the best chance to win $1,000,000, and, like, in my opinion. But, I mean, I just think that the theatrical is kinda stupid, but I do find that he's in a really good spot right now. He is guaranteed Final Four. He's gonna be fine.
Do you think his theatrics are helping his chances or hurting his chances or no
I
impact
kinda
on his
think
chances?
I kinda think it would hurt his chances. Like, if I was the jury, I feel like if you caught up a little bit of, like, the frames, the jury literally would, like, are like, "What?" Like, their hands up, or they're like, "Ugh," like, again? Like, because 'cause they're seeing this as much as we are, and it's so frustrating to see that. Like, I feel like nothing annoys someone more than a boys who cries wolf, and he even says that himself.
Mhm.
So, I think the theatrical itself makes all his gameplay less respectable and less good, and I think, what is the point? If it's not helping you, it's hurting you. So stop doing that, but it's too late now, you know? I
Yeah,
think it's not helping him.
I would take like a different angle to this based on your original assessment. You're saying that like you think that he played pretty well, all things considered. I would say I think outside of maybe Savannah and probably Steven due to what he had to do, I think everyone else actually misplayed this episode. Including Rizzo. Like Rizzo, I think made some like mistakes that you might see later. Like for instance, he did not have to do that. No one had a positive reaction to him going up again and then doing another fake out. That was just completely unnecessary. It shows both Savannah and it shows Sophie that okay, he might not be as aligned to them as they might think he is. And then I think the other thing that if you guys noticed was he revealed to the others that yeah, no, I can still use my idol next week. I don't think he even had to reveal that to them. Like just make it so that like oh, I didn't use the idol, so it's gone now. Have them think that like oh, he could still be voted out,
Now,
right?
granted,
Like
they could just he set up a situation where no one knows what to believe. Like, for all they know, he could be lying. Like he is being truthful, but they have to, they're forced to question everything. That's probably net positive. Like you don't want to be able to be
well,
telegraphed,
because of
but
the other play he made, right? Like I think if I'm doing this tribal over again as Rizzo, I'm not even like making that whole scene with the Sophie thing, right? Like I'm not even going up and making it seem like I'm using my idol. I'm just like thinking that like, oh, I'm safe, so I don't have to use the idol. Like the vote's not going to go in my way and just play it off like, okay, like I don't necessarily even need to use it, like whatever, and let them think what they need to think without saying anything myself because he's so performative with it. Yeah, like you don't really know how to think about how he's going about it. But I think like the uncertainty for next week's episode with him not revealing anything would be more helpful to his game. And he's not really doing anything that would just kind of look odd again, theatrically, where he's going up again, talking about an idol and not you. This is what, like the third time he's done that. So it's like,
well,
yeah,
it's
puzzling.
7. I think it's 7 times. He may not have done theatrics every single time, but he has insinuated he was gonna play it basically every single tribal council since the merge, essentially. But you're right, he hasn't taken up time from Ted Jeff except a couple times. I the problem is I think it all comes down if he finds himself at Final Tribal, he obviously this is gonna come up. So it's on him to build a narrative of why he was doing that. That is that resonates with the jury. So the challenge will be, can he come up with one? And
Oh, it's simple.
if
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It's very simple. It's bait and it's working. I mean, clearly he has not really had too much pressure on him, right? Otherwise, like we would have seen his name come up more, and it hasn't. So
Yeah, you can go with
it's
that.
good
I,
bait apparently.
like the risk is just, are they, like Andrew's hinting to, is this being received well by the jury at all these tribal councils? Your risk is that they're getting fed up with you. So that it's not a deal breaker. It just means you have to convince them then and be like, I wasn't just having fun and trying to be like a social media star with all these moments. Like there was a reason, and like you say, F, and it worked. So if you can do that, I think most of these are helpful, except this one. This feels bad because this time,
Yeah.
if it turns out, I'm like, again, leaving open the possibility that actually they were in total control. They had talked about it with Kristina and Sage, in which case I take it all back. But in this case, they think they are dead to rights because they the knowledge power didn't work. And so, and like you said, F, it would seem very likely that the votes are on Sophi. So not only did you choose not to defend your ally, and not only did you not choose to defend your overall alliance itself, because now if Sophi is voted out, then you and Savannah don't have the numbers anymore. You also teased her by standing up, making a whole speech of it, making her feel bad because you announced you're not going to use it on her, and then just making everyone be confused, saying you're not going to use it yourself either. If like this may damage your relationship with Sophi and potentially Savannah, because like I said,
Yeah.
this
No,
like
that's what I was saying.
you didn't prioritize your own alliance. Now I understand Rizzo could counter my concern by like, who cares? I'm safe next time. And I suppose I don't really have an answer to that. But like this one, if Sophie had been voted out, which I think is what Rizzo was us accepting. Oh well, I guess we lost Sophie. You have someone on the jury that is quite upset at you at that point. So, I didn't. In the end, I didn't like how he chose to conduct himself. But make sure you're safe. I do agree with not using it on Sophie, though. I think defend yourself.
Yeah.
Except he didn't use it on himself either. So in the end, didn't agree with anything. If he had used it on himself, I would have been in favor of it. If that's what you
I
thought.
I think critically I'm harsh on Sophie for not thinking strategically in the way that Rizzo is about things. That yeah, like if I see him using it, he's likely going to be using it on himself. I could see him use it on Savannah just because Savannah's like kind of been his meat shield for quite some time. But other than that, like it just I don't know. Like I feel like are you going to critique him on playing the game the way it's supposed? Like he's supposed to be cutthroat. Like this is more Sophie's blunder that she didn't just take the advantage for herself given the opportunity on a guarantee rather than risk it
I
all on
agree.
something you don't know,
Yeah,
right? Like
I agree
I
with you,
think
F.
Sophie is valuing the friendship to more than she needs to. And this is the point where, yeah, as Andrew's saying, you just need to be more cutthroat.
I
Like
mean,
it
if you're
just
asking, are juries ever bitter, even in the face of good gameplay? Oh, you bet there are bitter juries for sure. That's just human nature, it would seem, through like all seasons of the show.
Yeah, but as
But
I said,
in
like,
on
Rizzo
paper, I
plays
understand.
really well, though. Like, he doesn't besides the theatrical, in front of your face when he's working and talking to you, he pulls people in. People like Rizzo, I feel like. People respect him, like, he is young, but yet yeah, he's still very, he is eloquent during when he's not in tribal. I don't know, when he's in tribal, he's another, like, I don't know, you get all the fire, you see Jeff, and you're like, "Oh my god, you gotta make things go," and I feel like this is what's happening in this season. Everybody's trying to, like, make splashes, and they're trying to make splashes to Jeff to see, and make it to 50, you know? I feel like suddenly we're not really working on our current game, but just working being crazy and make big splashes to make to 50. I don't know, that might be a little theory I got, but I also feel like at this point, I honestly only see Rizzo and Savannah as winners. Like I truly I sadly like Kristina, she is so sweet. She is the mom. She is the sweetest human soul. I have yet to see a good play from her. You know, she had used the idol incorrectly, which is not her fault. It's everybody's bad read about what was going to happen. I don't think she played well. If she does become final 3, she also would be 0 vote. Now Sage, I don't know what she's going with. I feel like what a couple things that kinda irked me with Sage is that, like, a couple episodes ago, or even last episode, she is crying because Savannah wasn't going home, and it was Jawan, and that they basically handed her $1,000,000. Sage, are you doing that for Rizzo too? Like, I don't understand what happened in between that and that it was flawed. Like, I thought that was a flawed thought to, like, take down Steven. Well, did you guys feel that way as well, or did you guys understand Sage's mindset? Because I don't. I actually think that that was such a bad move. Should have take down Soph and kept going. At least you have a chance.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I thought the only people who didn't really misplay this episode were Steven and Savannah. I think everyone
Agree.
else made a mistake.
Well, what did well, actually, I disagree with that, by the way. But before we get back to that, uh, Sage gave us something because after the challenge, after the immediate challenge where Savannah's won, Sage is debating. Like the only people that seem reasonable I could target are Sophie and Steven, and she pitches Steven to Kristina, but I'm trying to remember at least what she tells Kristina why she wants that. Um, and I think to like I don't even know if she fully explains it, but what she says is the people who are left that could beat me include Steven, which therefore is kind of saying I don't think Sophie can beat me, but I do think Steven can beat me. Therefore, I will work to get Steven out at this vote. That's what Sage has decided. Um, I can't flaw that thought process. Like that clicks for me. You get out who you think will beat you. I'm just surprised that that's who she thinks is her biggest threat. Is the only thing.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
I was gonna ask you, who do you okay, just take everyone else out of the equation for a second. Who's a bigger threat to Sage right now? Is it Savannah or is it Steven?
How's it
Well,
percent
Savannah,
Savannah?
but she can't do anything about that unless she
She
persuade.
can. She can hinder Savannah's numbers. That's the thing. She can balance out that threat.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, how does it make sense that you're
I
giving
see what you're
them
saying.
the
Okay.
majority number? Like, it's not like they're
If
secretly together.
yeah,
They are
and
obviously a threesome.
if Steven is posing a threat in challenges, he's not only posing a threat in challenges to you, he's posing a threat in challenges to Savannah too.
Which is Christina's point. Also, well, Christina's probably main point is she just likes Steven. She doesn't want to vote against him. But
But like
another
that
point
point
that
does
Christina
make
brings up,
sense.
is the like he is useful at for helping defeat Savannah in a challenge, which would make Savannah vulnerable at tribal council. No, I could see that. I was going down the more simpler analysis of like power rank all the people that can beat me. And once I get the first time I get to somebody who's available to vote for, that's my target. So maybe she thinks my biggest threat's Savannah, my second biggest threat's Rizzo, my third biggest threat's Steven. Okay, stop there because I can vote for Steven this time. That's probably what it was. And say I almost beat her this time. I'll beat her next time. I'll beat Savannah next time to make sure that she's vulnerable. And then at that point, there's 5 people left. So that means you need either Rizzo or Sophie to vote with you. Suppose Christina told her that Sophie is willing. So that plan could have worked. But and maybe it will. Maybe that's what we'll see. Um the episode didn't spend too much time, but I think that's what we're left to infer is why Sage did what she did. Um, but but at tribal council, they clearly see I get that must be it, because I was gonna say at tribal council they see the attempt to use knowledge power fail, which means they should think they get to decide who's gonna go home now because they're gonna have the block a vote, and yet they still voted. So Sage specifically was very comfortable saying, "I'm gonna get out my biggest threat that's available, and then next time, I guess it's up to me to make sure that Savannah doesn't win." Basically, so she's betting on herself, which it's tough to say that's your best strategy when you've failed every single time. Like so far,
I
it has
think
only been
yeah.
the other Sophi, Savannah, and Steven to win so far, right?
And honestly, this can turn into a long conversation in of itself. But I think I don't falter for thinking that. Obviously, it's much easier for me to look at, like as I'm looking at the entire episodes and how they're going. And I could be wrong in my approach, but the way I see it is that like she's looking for that small term gratification rather than looking at the bigger picture. And that's what put her in the position she's in. That's why she's had this lingering thought of getting Savannah out and has failed every time, because she's not been whittling down the numbers to weaken Savannah, even if she can't target her specifically. She's more focused on the other things. Like she completely forgot about Savannah last week because she was targeting Sophi. And this week, who's the next biggest threat? And we forget that like Steven revealed his, like, I didn't agree with this. Like, I don't know why he revealed his advantage to Kristina and Sage, but he revealed the advantage to them and then he used it. So like whatever power or additional advantage Steven had, he weakened himself. So like for me, it's an even like I need to find a way to balance out that threat rather than take care of one threat. I'm not in it to just survive another. Like we're getting so close to the end. I have to figure out how am I going to win this overall game, and I have to find a way to decrease the threat level of the biggest threat, which is Savannah.
Honestly, the biggest problem is everything that led to this moment for Sage, because she has found herself in a situation where there are multiple people that are bigger threats. So it is hard to find out, like, because like I think she needs to get rid of Savannah, and she needs to get rid of Steven, and she needs to get rid of. I'm kind of suspicious that Rizo might not be in as good a position with the jury yet. So I think that Sage needs to go with Kristina and Rizo. Actually, like I think that is her best chance to win. So that is hard to find a way to get all of them out. So I admit it's complicated. But Kristina also voted for Steven. So now this is harder to justify. What can you think of any benefit for Kristina going the direction that she did?
No.
Not at all. No idea why they did this. It's just bad. Again, they don't make any sense. Their gameplays never make sense anymore. Christina's never made a good play, and she still hasn't. So,
Yeah.
as much as she's the mom, being a mom of a group doesn't make you win $1 million, unfortunately. So,
She would be the biggest surprise winner, but I think she essentially threw her game away by voting out Steven.
I think
He would have been the one
consistently she does
lifeline
that. Yeah.
that
I think
she had.
yeah. If I was Steven, I wouldn't vote for her either. I would be like, "You don't deserve a vote."
Yeah. This is really hard situation for Kristina. I don't know that there's a combination that gives her the edge at a final tribal, but also to have any chance, I think you need to be able to claim I got out threats at the end, and no matter what happened at this vote, I doubt she was going to be able to say that she drove it. So this is kind of a wash. And
No,
then
absolutely not.
next time, like in what actually happened, since Sophi has left us. I forget who even said that, but yeah, Sophi, because Rizzo doesn't defend her, and because she can't get the advantage away from Steven, is gone. So now, or sorry, not Steven's gone, actually. It would have been her, but Steven's gone. So since Steven's gone, maybe you could, like, in a world where they vote out Rizzo or Savannah, the perception is probably going to be that Sophi went against them, which doesn't help me, Kristina, get credit. And then and after that, it's fire making. Maybe she is in fire and wins fire, which looks flashy. Maybe that's the best thing she could do. But and if it went the other way around, if they got out Sophi or Rizo, then Steven's the one that used the block a vote and survived knowledge is power, even though he had nothing to do with that, but it looks like he did. And at that point, maybe if she got out Steven, but even if she did, she's left with Rizo and Savannah. And so I do think I disagree, but also I'm not sure what the winning play even would have been for Kristina regardless. So it's
yeah,
tough.
I don't see a winning play for her at all. Like, even assuming like the weakest final three combination, which I think would be Sophi, Sage, and Kristina, I think she's very clearly at the bottom of that, no matter how the rest of the votes go from this point onward. Maybe she wins a challenge, but like,
Maybe what it could have been. You're right. I think winning a challenge, not here, but at a one of the next two, could look good. That's a storyline of perseverance. I was awful at every challenge until like the very end. That could be something. But also, if she had persuaded Rizo and Savannah to turn on Sophi by revealing that Sophi for like 5 days has been telling me about voting against you, that could have been something. I think that's the only thing I could think of that could have looked good for her and like built momentum to the end. But Steven seemed okay. I mean, he thought it seemed like a plan that was gonna work out. Block a vote works. It makes sense to block Savannah just for icing on the cake. Maybe you could have blocked Rizzo's vote just so that when he gets up there, he's spooked and it throws him off his game or something. But that's kind of just nitpicking there. But otherwise, there was no reason for Steven to do anything different than he did, I think.
yeah, I think the only critique I have on Steven this episode, it's a minor one, but I just don't think it was necessary. I don't think he had to reveal his advantage. But I'm kind of just nitpicking. I could see why he did that, but I just don't think it was necessary.
You know what I was gonna say to that? I was very prepared to tell you, oh yes, because I'm expecting, like, I think everybody, like, oh, this means Sophie's gonna go home. I was prepared to tell you, like, oh, of course he told them about it because he wants to convince them our plan is gonna work. If he stays cryptic, it's like, oh, don't worry, us three will vote for them. They're gonna tell him it's gonna be a tie. What are you talking about? So I think it made sense to show
Yeah.
them, but of course, actually, they don't vote with them anyway. So clearly, that wasn't good enough in the end. But that's what I was gonna say. Like, but I guess no matter what, it
Yeah,
wouldn't have worked out.
I don't have a strong thought on that. I just thought that, like, if anything, just to be able to, because if you leave it like a mysterious thing that they don't know about, like, that potentially gives you more power, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee you, survive another tribal. So that's why I'm like, okay, well, I understand why he did that. My first inclination would probably not be to do that.
Um. Oh, and Savannah. Savannah couldn't vote anyway, but was intending to vote with her allies. That all makes sense to me. Uh, I don't think there's any reason to bring both of her alliance members on the reward though, which the reward challenge, the reward for the reward challenge was not just some Mexican food, but also the letters from home. I thought that seemed to like I think they were better ways. Like I
Mhm.
think usually when you're in an alliance, what you do is you you have some of your alliance with you at the reward, and then the rest of the alliance back at camp, so that you have people on both sides. Um, Now she took care of business to defend herself by winning immunity, so she covered herself in that sense. But that I did not agree with that at all.
Yeah, exact same thing with Steven, where I wouldn't say it's big enough to be a misplay. I would just nitpick as well and just say that, like, strategically, she might have been better served bringing one of the others, but I think I can understand, again, why she did that too. She wanted to solidify her 3 if she feels confident that, okay, with Rizzo still having his idol, we should be in a pretty good spot, and we've got good momentum with these challenges. If any one of us 3 win, we can kind of drive how these votes go. The only thing we need to really figure out is what's what's Steven's advantage. And I don't think bringing Steven in, like, to the I don't think, like, I would find it really weird if Steven revealed that to them, like, if they brought Steven. So I was thinking the only other person I could see her probably bringing is, like, maybe Sage. I don't even know what that would do to her for her game. Like, I don't.
Honestly, I think I'm just saying keep the people that are working against you separated,
Yeah.
because then now this is, hindsight 2020. Sophie would have you believe she really appreciated it, and it helped convince her to act in the interest of her alliance at foremost. So maybe if she doesn't go on that, she doesn't think that way. So so maybe it could have. So maybe, but um. So we talked about each of them. I'm trying to think of just other small things. Uh, how did you've watched a knowledge is power advantage get played? So
Mhm.
so what'd you think of how it works in practice? We've been talking about it. It finally got used.
Yeah. Finally, I was looking forward to it, and disappointing. I was really hoping that, as I was saying earlier in this recording, that, like, I was really hoping that Sophie would do a blind side because that was a big move for her. I liked seeing it in play. I just did not like the end result. So it was a little disappointing in execution, but I'm happy that she at least used it. My concern was, is she just not even going to use it at all and just let it slip? But at least it didn't go in that direction.
Yeah, I think it was disappointing to see. I think it's a little too OP for my liking, the knowledge of power. uh,
I see.
I do feel like it's a little too OP. Although it's not used correctly in terms of she didn't get the advantage, I think it's too OP. I personally think that's a little bit too much for me. I don't know. Is this like, do people steer that way or the other way around? But I just think it's too OP. Especially nowadays, I feel like everyone tells her this season was a little different, but like previous seasons, everyone knew everyone's business. Everyone was asking everybody else to help them do their idol stuff, searching and idol puzzle making and stuff like that. So it was a lot more. This season, everyone is a bit more tight mouth, which is good. Besides Rizzo's, like, one, but I mean, even Christina's people knew pretty soon too. So I just don't think it's that great to have that. Because it means like, because to have knowledge of powers means that you are, you're close to that person to know, and you could betray them without, them knowing that you have this power. But it's also like, I don't know. I didn't feel like you really need to be that close to someone to know that they have an advantage in this game. So I don't like it. I don't like it at all. My poor man worked so hard for a freaking block of vote, and this girl just looks up on a tree and gets the knowledge of power. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, I would probably agree with what you're saying. It's funny for me because the small sample size I see it in, it totally whiffs. So it has to be in the right hands, clearly. Otherwise, it could just go nowhere. And the most surprising thing is you're seeing it in a season where everyone knows one person has an idol and they're
Mhm.
just not using it.
Yep, and it's just so annoying to see that, though. It's so frustrating to see someone have an idol, and, like, I feel like I watched so many seasons where people are like, "The moment you have an idol, you're on the chopping block. We're gonna get you, or we're gonna have to, like, pretend it's not you, but vote for you, and you're gonna or spook you to make you use the idol." I don't know, is it because he's good at reading people so he doesn't get spook easy, or these people are bad at spooking and not get him out, not get him to even use his idol. I just like, it's not even for him to like vote him out. I'm saying to just have him use his idol. So he's not like having it as a shield for the past like 6 votes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it like part of it has to do with people not thinking long term. Like I was saying about Sage, like if she handled the game differently, they would have applied pressure to Rizzo and Savannah with the thought of, okay, if we can't target the the issue became because they can't target Savannah, they in no way are actually hurting her. And one of her biggest supporters has been Rizzo, and then we find out eventually that Soph is working with them too. But it felt like for a good portion that no one is really targeting them if Savannah for some reason is building an advantage. They're just seeing other threats and are taking care of the other things, even though in hindsight, like you're seeing how big of a threat that group is becoming.
For sure. I agree.
It does seem like it's all coming down to they are they're believing Sophie's desire to go against them. And part of it, half of it, could be you could believe her, and the other half is logically that is what she should think. So like now, Sage and Kristina, it's a pretty easy sell to say, Sophie, clearly you're number 3. Join us. That makes sense. But like to get to this point, like there's a bunch of people that could have thought that, but they didn't make it to Final Five, so they don't get to take advantage of it. So uh and I think what helped Rizzo a lot is Savannah winning often, because at every tribal council where neither of them are safe, there's the threat that everybody else could split their vote. But she was safe often enough that now they can't split the vote because uh, in the beginning, Sophie was not a threat because who's this person just came from Kayla as this is no friends or anything. They're like, what? That's not useful to us. And then Rizzo probably is going to play his idol, so then they target somebody else. Um, but yeah, the knowledge is power is mostly disliked, and although interestingly enough, of the few times it's appeared, one tactic, uh, which Sophie thought happened. Let's just say you have an idol, and everyone knows Rizzo has an idol. If Rizzo gave it to Savannah before they went to tribal, and the moment that Sophie asks, it's Savannah who has it in her bag, that also whiffs because Rizzo doesn't have it.
Interesting.
So that is another way to defend yourself, but I mean that's only relevant if you know it's coming. Like obviously, if you don't know there's knowledge is power, you're not gonna just randomly give it to somebody else. Um, so technically that's, or I guess if you left it at home, like if it's not there, then I guess. Um, but uh, but yeah, so that's knowledge is power.
I will
Um,
say, I really did like the challenges in this episode and wanted to get your thoughts on it. It's like both the challenges. So ultimately, in this, Savannah ended up winning both. The first one we were talking about them actually going and getting to eat together, and then an added part of that challenge being they got to read the letters from home, where we got to see a very emotional moment from the three core group we're seeing right now, which is the majority: Savannah, Rizzo, and Soph.
oh, you mean Tres
So
Leches?
yeah, exactly. The Three Amigos too. I just recently saw that movie. Good one. But I did like the challenge. The first one was like more of kind of like a mud pit, kind of like obstacle course kind of thing. Honestly, the first part of it to get to the end didn't really matter, just because like the final component of it was so difficult. I felt like you could have just done that and have that be the challenge, because everyone eventually gets there. But essentially, for people who watch Survivor, I'm sure it's come up a couple times. It's the one where you have to like toss this little it's like a bag of something, like a weighted bag, small
Like a
weighted bag.
beanbag.
Yeah, exactly. A bean bag. You toss it up on a pole and just have it stick on the pole. Whoever gets it on the top of the pole ends up winning the challenge. And obviously, it looks very difficult. So, as you can imagine, no matter who builds that early lead, I've noticed that other times I've seen this sort of challenge come up, everyone ends up doing it eventually, right? Just because it's like so hard to like aim it correctly and everyone ends up like underhanding. There's no way. I would love to see someone actually succeed in this challenge just by an overhand throw. I feel like that would be super difficult. But ultimately, this is a challenge that Savannah ends up winning. She has to make a difficult decision in terms of deciding who comes to eat with her, and then also gets to read the letters. And as we know, she does go with her core group of Rizzo and Soph. I keep blanking on her name for a second. I'm like thinking Soph still.
Because that's not
Um,
her name. She's reclaimed as Sophie.
No, it's
yes.
Soph.
So they look like they had some really good food. They come back, get a chance to speak. But I also thought the immunity challenge in this episode was really cool. As you both know, I do like endurance challenges, and this was more of the same. I don't know if you guys have seen this in other seasons. This is the first time I recall seeing anything like this. But essentially, this challenge was you actually put your foot on a pole, or I guess like a platform that's kind of like a seesaw, and it can go up and down with the weight of your foot. So you have to be very careful with how you're like keeping your foot on it. And essentially, you put a ball at the end, at the other end of this like seesaw like contraption, and you have to make sure that that ball stays on the seesaw. If it falls off, you get eliminated. And we were checking to see if someone actually ended up getting eliminated within the first 20 seconds. I know that was my guess. And who was it? Kristina was like the first person eliminated.
Not Kristina.
Not Kristina.
Rizzo.
Rizzo, yes. He, I think, just passed the 20-second mark. You were counting it right, Will?
Yeah. I was hoping Kristina would defy the odds and just do the unthinkable. And then Sage also got close, and she's actually been close a couple times.
Yeah. Very impressive
Um,
showing from Sage.
But yeah, like you said, Savannah pulls it out, and I've Savannah's at the end when it's all said and done. It's definitely earned my respect. If she goes all the way and wins, I will consider her good winner
Agreed.
in the
Yeah,
in
I
the
think she
end.
really steps it up when she needs to. Let me ask you guys this, like, because I made a comment on it while we were watching. What did you think of Sage's strategy during this immunity challenge when it was just her and Savannah? I wasn't receptive to it. I thought it was a little odd, but essentially what happened was when it was just the two of them, Sage was trying to convince Savannah to just throw the challenge. And at this time, they looked to both be in a good spot. It wasn't like one of them was wavering. But I got the sense that Sage was feeling like she was going to lose if she didn't try something. And it, as you were saying, Will, it came across as a desperation play. And it just seemed to me that it was harming Sage herself more than it was hindering Savannah. And I just, the logic behind it made no sense either, where Savannah called her out and said, like, hey, like, Sage was like, oh, okay, like I know a way to save us both. Like, just let me take this one and I can save us. And Savannah's like, but you literally wrote my name down. Like, and Sage just goes like, well, yeah, like, and if I was you, I wouldn't trust me either. So this isn't the best argument to give someone if you're trying to get them to throw a challenge. And my other point is that, like, why are you even trying to get them to throw the challenge? Just try to beat them fair and square. Like, why do you need to resort to that sort of thing? It's not
Do
a
whatever
winner's
it
mentality.
takes. I'm fine with that. That's my winner's mentality is pull out all the stops. Now, you have absolutely no leverage. I mean, it's a very telegraphed. The only reason you'd ever do this if you think you're about to lose. And if you're about to lose, why would I let you win? Like I could just wait for you to fail. But I just think I can feel my leg giving out. Like it's all over for me. Let me just Hail Mary, like hope that I could trick her. Because I mean, I don't think for a second Sage was genuine about anything she was saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't got a problem with it. As long as, like, I mean, it'd be weird to do this if you think you're good for, like, another hour, like, you wouldn't say this. But if you think you're about to drop, then I guess you might as well.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
like that. It was just kinda like, if you wanna win, you should just win on your own, not tell someone to drop, like, like, I don't think you telling someone to, like, "Just let me win," is considered you winning. I don't think that's you winning, and if anything, it tells me how you are as a player. You just want someone to, like, give you the win? Like, what? I just thought that was really not so great. I don't respect it.
yeah, me
Yeah,
neither.
but like, if it's either I gain your respect but get voted out, or I lose your respect, but I win immunity. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the second one for $1 million.
Ugh. I mean, in the end of the day, I feel like if you were the other person, why would I do that? Why would I let you why would I
Oh
give
yeah,
you the
no, no,
win, you
no.
know? And it's also kinda like so but if you already assume that person's gonna say no, why would you ask?
Well, it's like people play the lottery every day. There's a non-zero chance it could work. Or
I
like
think
they get dis
It's just cringe.
they're so bamboozled by the ass they just lose focus and lose. You never know.
I
It's
think that's
cringe.
another play where it's like, okay, for whatever reason, if it works, there is a short term gratification. But if that person's part of the jury, they are not like, how would they vote for you? Like they're not gonna give you a
Well,
vote.
yeah,
Like that's
like
gonna
in the
burn a jury vote.
scenario where you say, "I can save us," and then you immediately vote them out, then yeah. But maybe you're like, "I don't need their vote." Maybe that's your plan. But yeah, that's what I at least thought of that. So we do have your both of your winner picks. Uh, unfortunately, both of you have lost Steven. Um,
No.
but on the
Oh, I
bright
forgot
side,
about that. Ugh.
yes, yes. But on the bright side, he was only one of your picks for both of you, as Ange still has Rizzo, and F, you still have Savannah. Before we talk about them, um, would either of you be happy to see Steven play again?
I
I would.
would.
Yeah. I think
Yes,
he's a good
I
player.
would. Yeah, he was a great player. He was great social game. He was great at his challenges. He had a really good story, and I want to know more about him, you know? He had like a story of him being this rocket scientist, him pushing through that challenge, him volunteering when nobody wanted to step up. He was a great guy, and I really liked him for it. So I definitely want to see him again. I hope he's the one for
I'm gonna
50, but I fear it ain't gonna
I'm
be
gonna
him.
say, my opinion is great guy, not great player.
Oh,
Simply good player,
oh.
not great player.
Do you think
Like
Sage is
his
better, Will?
no, no,
Okay, that makes me
Def-
feel better. Okay.
no.
I think
But
the
Sage has one more episode to do the unthinkable, so we'll see.
Mm, mm.
I
Like
think
imagine she's the winner, and I
Doubtful.
just said that she's not. But
yeah, I'll add on to what Ange said. I also would like to see him again. I think he was on the like if he won the immunity challenge here, he had a legitimate chance to just win the season. Like he's the only other person who I would think poses a threat to Savannah as of right now. Things are still subject to change, but I think unless something hampers Savannah, the only other person I would have seen win it with the cast that we had prior to this episode would have been Steven. But now that you mentioned that, Will, I'm kind of interested to know, just based on the contestants for this season, who would you say you would rank higher than Steven in terms of who do you think's played better than him so far?
on this season, uh, all I think so. Oh, but see, up until now, Sophie was there. So Sophie B was there. This feels like a big misstep for Sophie, though. That drop. It's one of those cases of like Steven has had less opportunities to
Mhm.
potentially mess up, whereas Sophie has had more opportunities, and in those more opportunities, she's done great. And then the most recent one, I think she did really poorly. So it's an interesting sample size thing. Uh, Savannah, let's just pretend like it was the finale with these six for some reason. So I power rank it Savannah, and then um, so at the with the six of them, Savannah, Sophie, Rizzo, Steven, Sage, Kristina, in that order.
Interesting.
Now, after this episode with the final five, I guess we do it right now. Uh, winner chances. I haven't asked you yet about your picks, but winner chances. Who do you think F has the best chance to win out of our five remaining people?
I think I would go with the highest risk, highest reward. I think it is Savannah.
Okay, Savannah. Who's the next best chance,
I
in
would
your
say
opinion?
Sophie.
Who's the third best chance?
This really depends on how Sage does things. I think right now I would say Rizzo, but
Okay,
I
so
think this could flip to Sage depending on how the next episode goes. I'm having a hard time deciding between the two, but I would give Rizzo the slight edge.
all right, so you're going Savannah, Sophie, Rizzo for now.
And Rizzo's like obviously the safest one. He's got Idol for next week.
And then, and same question, power rank winner picks out of all 5 of them.
I mean, I'm not saying my winner pick because I think I'm gonna stay with mine, but I honestly think I do agree with you, F, that Savannah would be the one to win.
Did I just hear you power rank Savannah as the best chance to win, but your actual winner pick is gonna be Rizzo?
Yes, because
Right.
F has Savannah, and I think it'll be more
Join the
spicy
club.
if I went for something else, kept my guy.
No, I respect it.
You're going for
respect
the
I
for the
don't-
ratings. I see.
Yes,
I don't have
yes.
exclusivity rights to her, so you're always welcome to
No.
join the club. But no, I respect it.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think it'll be more spicy, in the end, if we're kind of rooting for two different people. However, I do think Savannah has the highest chance. I think Rizzo's theatrics made him seem more immature, and I don't know if the jury would respect that. That's my thing. My third person would be, I would. It's hard. I don't. This one's really hard because it could be both ways. Because I don't like them being third either. I think it's gonna be Soph. Then we
Okay.
have Sage. Then we have Kristina.
Gotcha. It Sophie hurt my soul so much because up until how that played out, she's would be my, if I was ranking, that's number 1 in terms of predicting a winner for me. But this went so poorly that it's gonna be hard. The only way now is I think she can still do what she should have done. She could still vote against Rizzo Savannah next time at Final 5, and then let's just say she then makes it to the end. But I think because of how poorly this one went, that just puts her on par with everybody else now. Whereas before, I think if she had done that, in fact, even if she had done nothing in this last tribal, no knowledge power at all, and then voted against Savannah or Rizzo, that would put her over the top. Then I think she would be a favorite. But now I think if she does that, she's just a contender along with everybody else. With that said,
Wait, but in your scenario, like her vote wouldn't go through. You're just saying if she didn't whiff on the knowledge is power.
no, if she just didn't use it at all. If she didn't use it at all, it still would have been,
But you're saying that
it
she
would
would
have been
vote for
5 against,
Rizzo,
4 against.
or did I just mishear? Did you say Rizzo or Savannah?
No. So just exactly the same thing that happened. This episode happens, other than she doesn't use her knowledge as power.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
If that happens, they still all vote for Steven. And then, because what that avoids is the embarrassment of it, because to the jury it looks like they got duped by Steven, but then something weird happened and Steven goes home anyways. So right now, but that doesn't look good for Sophie the way that played out. So, but if she had not done all that, then they would have got out Steven, and then she could get out one of Rizzo or Savannah, and then hope she gets to the end, and then that looked really great. So I'm gonna say, I'm actually gonna go, because why wouldn't Savannah get voted out next time? Because I feel, other than winning, I mean, obviously she could win immunity, but this is I think the only way. No, we're still gonna say most likely Savannah. So we're gonna say Savannah, and I'm just gonna go for the whole prediction. Savannah's gonna win immunity, and so they'll vote out. Who's left? They'll vote out. I actually don't think she'll vote Sophie.
I think she might vote out like Sage or something.
I think she'll vote, even though she probably should vote out Sophie, but I think she'll actually vote out Sage. and then she will not win immunity at Final Four, so she'll be put in fire, but she'll win fire, and then I think she'll win at Final Tribal Council. So that is all my predictions. You don't have to go that deep, but that's just what I think is going to happen.
I think if she gets into the final vote, she for sure is winning. Like, it doesn't matter what the others do for the rest. Like, she's just for sure winning.
But I don't think there's anything left she can do to not be the target anymore. So her only options are now to win the next immunity challenge and then win fire or win that immunity challenge. There's no other tactics that I think that can trick people into not trying to get her out. But all right. So we made it to the finale. One more episode, and we will know the outcome of 49 and presumably who will be advancing to season 50.
The funny thing about Steven is, if you asked me this like 2 episodes ago, like if Steven for some reason got eliminated 2 episodes ago, I probably would have said no, that I wouldn't like to see him return. I just think he had a strong showing in the last episode. And this episode, I don't really fault him for much. He just got put in a bad position. I saw multiple people make misplays. I just don't think he was one of them. Like if I'm putting it on a list. So it's these last 2 episodes that really kind of bumped him up for me.
Understandable. He in the end, I don't know that anything he did was remarkable. Like was holding me back, but certainly didn't dislike him on the season like others we probably disliked. But all right, anything else?
Looking forward to the end.
I'm gonna miss you, Steven.
He'll be back,
well.
I believe.
Will the rocket scientist be back? We shall see. But all right, everyone, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Island Life, and come back next week for the finale of season 49. But until then, and until we speak again, ciao.